I'm ready.
Okay. Ready? Megan? Mm-hmm. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Today podcast. I'm your host, Ben Lucian, and Fear and Loathing are two sensations I know a little bit of something about. I think our guest today, Ralph Steadman, might know something about those as well, but we think you'll find him quite charming. The British artist and illustrator known for his collaborations with gonzo journalist Hunter S. Thompson. He's our guest today, and his new exhibit, Ralph Steadman and Another Thing, is you can view it now at the OSU Museum of Art. It's open now through May 10th. Our own Megan Rossman did the interview. We're excited for that. And more on that in a minute, but first, how about a word from our sponsor? This episode is brought to you by the Oklahoma Museums Association, dedicated to empowering the more than 500 museums across Oklahoma to strengthen their offerings and serve their communities. OMA members are an important part of the collective Oklahoma Museum voice, and members receive access to a variety of resources to help them connect to the museum profession. More information is available at okmuseums.org. All right, so now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and bring on the whole team here. Are any of us experiencing fear and or loathing today?
Always.
I don't think so.
There's always like that one little bit of it inside of me. But I am going to try to bring it out in you by stumping you with today's Tuesday trivia question.
Okay.
Yes. So it is Valentine's week in Oklahoma, or I guess everywhere, which includes Oklahoma. And it's not Valentine's Day without flowers. Now, Oklahoma has actually several official floral symbols recognized. The mistletoe, that's the official floral emblem of the state. The Indian blanket is the official wildflower of the state. But my Tuesday trivia question for you all is, what is the official flower, the state flower of Oklahoma?
The Oklahoma rose.
This is correct. The Oklahoma rose, yes.
Megan.
Thank you.
As signed into law by Brad Henry.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So congratulations to Lori Ford in Edmond, who also knew that
Way to
answer.
go, Lori.
Go, Lori.
Well, question of the week. I mentioned Valentine's Day. A good Valentine's Day date is to go see some art at a museum somewhere. Our question of the week this time is, where is your favorite place in Oklahoma to view art? You go to the OSU Museum of Art and see the Ralph Steadman exhibit, perhaps. Editor-in-Chief Nathan Gunner, where did you
It's a hard question.
go with this question? Yeah.
Because there's a lot of really great places. I think ultimately probably I'm going to go with the Oklahoma City Museum of Art. I'm a member there.
Mm-hmm.
I really love, I mean, really just, it's blocks from where we are right now. And it's very easy to like just go in there and walk around and just get really inspired.
Yeah.
They always have the best rotating exhibits. Huge fan of Phil Brook and Gilcrease and Fred Jones and all of the museums, but OKCMOA really has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And always great, rotating exhibits.
Great
as well.
films.
The gift
amazing
shop.
Gift shop.
Yeah.
I damaged my credit card so much.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Megan, what about you? Where do you like to go see art?
There are so many places. I really like the Fred Jones. And of course, OSU Museum of Art in Stillwater
yes.
is another. And OSU is always free, which is really cool. And also outside of kind of central Oklahoma, the Leslie Powell Gallery in Lawton is really nice. The Red River Museum of Art is really nice as well. There are so many places that you can go see awesome art in our state.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the last couple of decades, I feel like it's the quality's really gone through the roof. Carly, what about you? Where do you look for art in Oklahoma?
I look for art everywhere. No.
Yes.
There's a couple museums that I wanted to shout out for this because it was so hard to decide. So the Maybe Vera Museum in Shawnee is
I love
a
it.
really fantastic one.
That's a good answer. I wish I had thought of that before.
And they also have some really interesting historical artifacts as well. But I think my favorite has to be the Pigeon Museum.
Okay.
Because I love pigeon-themed art, and they have a lot of it.
They
so.
do.
And they have pigeons.
And real
And
pigeons,
actual
too,
pigeons.
which are a work of art.
Yes.
In a way, so.
One of the most artful creatures, really.
I love that.
Kirsten Stone, research editor. What is your favorite place to view art?
I'm with Nathan at the OKC MOA. They have really good selections every time that they're like open and what they're rotating through exhibits, but also they have such fun events, and they do I believe they still do it, where they have one Sunday a month where you can get in free so people can still experience it even if they don't regularly afford to.
Yes, they're big on being able to access the arts, for sure.
And if you've never been to a party up on that rooftop,
Oh, yeah.
those are fun parties.
Yes,
The Oklahoma
definitely.
City Museum of Art.
Oh, yes.
On the
Okay, I
rooftop is
missed
a really
the
nice
first.
place.
I will also shout
Oh,
out though,
cocktails.
just
Thought-
another place that's not like a singular set location to find art in Oklahoma, but like driving around like smaller towns or certain areas when you can just find murals on the sides of buildings.
Yes,
They're always
yes.
so good.
So
lot of great art in
many
your
small
hometown.
towns.
Yeah.
So many
Lot of
small
really good.
towns have been like glamified with murals over
We
the
love
years.
it.
Yes.
Miami, the old downtown Miami,
Yeah.
murals everywhere.
Yes.
It's so cool to see.
Lawton has a lot of murals, too.
Yeah.
Where do you go, Ben?
Well, one place that I wanted to shout out, and it's not just because I did the story about it, but the all the art at the Oklahoma State Capitol. I think
Oh, yeah.
it's a very
Oh,
beautiful
yeah.
place to go, and they're opening up the I believe it's the Betty Price
Betty Price
Gallery.
Gallery.
Yes. So that's been closed for a while, and I used to work at the state capitol, and I would go down to the Price Gallery
As
just
governor.
just to kill some. And yeah, as governor, I was the unofficial governor of Oklahoma. But I would go down just to kill time in the gallery. So I'm excited to see it open up again, and we might do a podcasting on that later. Let's go behind the camera.
Ooh, Bridget.
I have several. Firehouse Art Center in
Oh,
Norman.
yeah.
I almost
That's a
said that
great
one.
one.
I love Firehouse.
I love
yeah.
Firehouse, too.
Yeah.
50 Penn Place Art Gallery.
That's a really nice
Yeah.
one.
And anywhere in the Paseo Art District,
Yeah.
Gallery 1, or any of those down there.
Yeah.
Say it was fun.
Nice. What about you, Chris? Do you not like art?
You know what I'm going to say, right? You know what I'm going to say.
What are you gonna? No.
I
No, I
think
actually
I
don't.
know what
The
you're
cowboy in Western
Oh, it's a
Now
great
that makes
answer.
sense.
I'm glad
Yeah.
somebody
No, that's a
mentioned
really
that.
good answer. Yeah.
I was going to circle back to that if no
Yeah.
I
one.
mean, I've
Same.
been there
Yeah.
I'm glad we did
dozens
get
and
that.
dozens and dozens
Yeah.
of times. I worked there. You know, we'd go there. We'd go to events there. I just love that place.
It's so fun.
But I made a list, so I don't want to leave anybody out because I
Good.
knew what everyone was going to say, for the most part. But
You know us so well.
Exhibit C.
Oh,
Ooh,
I
love
love
Exhibit
there.
C.
I love there. And then I really now some of these are museums and they have art and not but other like exhibits and stuff. But I
Yeah.
love the Cherokee Strip Museum in Enid.
Oh, yeah.
And then Museum of the Great Plains in Lawton.
Great museum.
And then the Sod House Museum.
I love
that
the
place.
Sod House
Now it's not
Museum.
art per se.
Those
Uh-huh.
quilts are art.
Those,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
quilts
yeah.
are
I would
Yeah.
say the Sod House
Yeah.
is art.
Yeah, yeah. And then the Cimarron Heritage Center in Boise City.
I love that place.
Yeah, that's great.
That, I mean, I've only been there once, and I had to look up the name again, but I just enjoyed that such a small little place out in the middle of nowhere, as you all know.
But there's so much
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could stay there for hours
Yeah.
and not see it all.
Also,
Yeah.
the owner has a little dog that she brings to the museum sometimes. so
One
you
of the
might
missions
get
of
to
this
see
podcast is to tell you everywhere you can find a really great dog.
Yeah,
Oklahoma,
right.
so
And
you need
Carly
to watch.
knows.
I know.
And Carly has all the answers.
Yeah. I should say too, you said Firehouse in Norman, and that made me think of Jacobson House, which is
Oh,
another
yeah,
really,
that's
really great place in
Yeah,
Norman to go
yeah.
see art.
Also, very important
Very
to
important
art
historically.
In general.
Yeah, the Kiowa 6 train there, and it's a big deal. So thank you for saying
Well-
Firehouse because it made me remember that one.
We had a lot of people excited about answering the question online. Heidi Hills is a fan of the Philbrook in Tulsa.
so
Of course, like how can you not mention the Philbrook? Kelly Pennington, she kind of did the job for us, really. She has several places listed here. Wool Rock near Bartlesville.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wool Rock's
Got
amazing.
got to mention that. In Oklahoma City, she likes the Cowboy Museum, the Oklahoma City Museum of Art, and Oklahoma Contemporary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oklahoma
Yeah,
Contemporary is one of my
Amazing.
favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did we
forgot
not
to
mention that one, really?
It's
Yeah.
funny.
Bam.
Oh,
Megan
yeah,
Rossman, the first on the
fam.
board.
Ooh.
First American Museum.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We left some off the list. There's so many.
Uh-huh.
In Norman, the Fred Jones. Kelly likes in Tulsa the Philbrook and Gilcrease when it opens back up. Let's see. In Ardmore, the Goddard Center.
Goddard
there.
Center's cool, yeah.
That's a great place.
In Duncan, the Chisholm Trail Arts Council Gallery.
And
And
the Chisholm
in-
Trail Museum in Duncan is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Lawton, she's also a fan of the Leslie Powell Gallery.
Nice. We did a feature quite a while back. Terry Clark wrote a feature for the magazine about how if you combine the collections in, help me, the Cowboy, the Philbrook, the Gilcrease, and Woolrock, weren't those the
Okay.
4 museums?
I don't.
It's the largest collection of Western art in the world.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, I believe it.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
And Western art is so much more diverse than I like.
Oh, so much more.
That was why I didn't think I was really a Western art fan until I went to the Cowboy Museum and was like, oh, this is what Western art is.
Yeah.
It's really, the
Something.
Cowboy Museum is amazing.
Love
I
that
mean,
place.
Gerard Mochin said he loves the Woody Guthrie Folk Center in Tulsa.
Yeah.
There's some original Woody Guthrie work in there that's really interesting. Clint Stone likes the Oklahoma City Museum of Art, the Fred Jones Jr. Museum of Art, and the Philbrook. Yes.
And if you like that cover behind Ben, Clint Stone drew
Yes.
that. And you can get a poster it's not that, but it's like that he drew. You can buy it at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art.
Evan Jarvix chimed in with some unique ones, as we know Evan will always do. OSC Press in Norman, yes, for the print making stuff, really good.
That's cool.
And the Mycelium Gallery on North Penn in OKC.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to go there.
Okay.
And then finally, Carla Brady Massengill is a fan of the Cowboy Museum and Woolrock in Bartlesville.
Nice.
Yes.
And Tribes 131 in Norman.
Oh, yeah.
Jarvix
That's
was
another
talking about
good
Norman.
one.
Yes.
Made me think of Tribes 131.
All right. Well, that's enough from us. We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to Megan's interview with Ralph Steadman.
My first question had been if you guys, if either of you were going to be here for the exhibit, but for the opening, but it sounds like Sadie, you are.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's going to be pretty. My schedule's insane. It's like I told them I'm coming such a long way, so yeah, use me, book me into stuff, and they really have. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's like, oh, so what? We're starting on Tuesday with an interview at 7 a.m. I'm a bit like,
Wow.
oh, that's a bit serious. Really taking me at my word there.
Yeah, definitely. You're gonna see a lot of people while you're here.
That would be fun. I'm excited. It's fun.
So with this exhibit, just for anybody who's not familiar, the Ralph Steadman and Another Thing will be at the OSU Museum of Art from January 21st to May 10th.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, it's such a, do you know how many works are in this exhibit? It seems like a lot.
Yeah, we have 149 pieces,
Okay.
plus ephemera, and also the life-size vintage Dr. Gonzo's bronze sculpture by Judd Bergeron. So it's quite an experience, quite a full-on experience, and it goes all the way back to when Dad was learning to draw in the 1950s and 60s.
God, was that
And
it?
then the latest piece was 2023, which was a Donald Trump portrait.
Ah, okay.
Timely.
And so what are some of your favorite works that are in this exhibit?
You too can learn to draw and earn pounds. Take the Percy B. Bradshaw Press Art School course, which I did. I took that, and it sort of helped in a way.
Well, it was what started you off learning your craft, wasn't it? I suppose.
I suppose so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what are your
So-
favorite? Some of your favorite works you've ever done? I know you always
the Last Supper on
Yeah.
the wall upstairs in the bedroom.
Oh,
Yeah, but we haven't put that in the exhibition because we'd have to bring the
It's
whole
on the wall.
It's on the wall in his bedroom.
and I was wondering about, did you end up making a flying machine? The gliding device? The Da
Yes,
Vinci? Okay.
I think it crashed, didn't it?
Yeah, you threw it off the roof. I came home from school one day and he was throwing it off the roof with a film crew watching. Just another day in the Steadman household.
Yeah. No, I bet you got to see a lot of
I was
interesting
just like, oh
experiments.
God. I was like, oh no, what's he doing now?
Uh-huh.
Oh dear, that's a shame. Put you through a lot.
And so you've done a lot of, I mean, just a lot of political drawings, a lot of portraiture, just it's so varied. I'm wondering if there are any.
I was always interested to try and do the things that Leonardo da Vinci did.
Uh-huh.
You know, the idea of flying machines and everything else that went somehow through his mind.
Uh-huh.
I tried to, well, I did a book called I, Leonardo, so there we are, you know.
Yeah, you've a lot of children's books, like
Yes, quite a few children's books, yes.
yes.
I thought that was all part of it, you know, to not just treat children's books like something that's not worth anything. Because children's books are quite interesting because if they can also help to teach kids how to read, you know.
Mhm.
Again, if there's words and pictures side by side, that's quite good for children to pick up the idea of one thing relating to another. It works quite well like that. And apart from that, I've done nothing.
I think one of your first ever published books was a children's illustrated book. It was Fly Away Peter
Oh, Fly Away
in
Peter.
1963.
Good Lord, was it?
Yeah, and that was I think that was your first ever published book, was a children's illustrated book.
Gosh, because a lot of it I'm forgetting, you know. I mean, I remember it when I see it, but I couldn't just memorize a list of all the things I've done.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a very extensive list. So
Yeah.
I think you can be forgiven for not remembering all of these
so.
these many things. Are there any like people or just things in particular that you enjoy drawing more than
Yeah.
others?
Yeah, I think I would mention Leslie Richardson, who was a wonderful teacher I had when I used to go to the Victoria and Albert Museum and the Natural History Museum with him and Gerald Scarfe.
Mhm.
And we'd be taught really very much a lot of everything of how to draw from him. He was so like he covered everything, you know, possible sources of information, where it came from, who gave the information, all those sort of ideas.
Well, he was a real mentor to you, wasn't he?
He was, yes, absolutely.
In the 60s.
He was, you know, I was kind of younger then, and I can't do it
And
anymore.
what have you enjoyed over the years? Is there anything you particularly enjoyed in drawing? I mean, is it people or places or?
I can't remember. I don't really remember specifically what I enjoyed, you know,
Uh-huh.
But I think suddenly if I go, oh gosh, that's interesting, then that catches my imagination, you know. I think maybe that made me start thinking again of something, you know.
It's like a spark, isn't it? I suppose.
Yes, a spark of I was going to say a spark of inflammation.
And so, well, that kind of leads into, I was wondering sort of what your muses are, what inspires you to make art I mean, I'm sure it's not any one thing, but
Well, what interests me, I think, most is the blank sheet of paper.
Mhm,
So what are you going to do with that?
mhm.
So I usually have to make a mark on it and take it from there, really. I can't, and I haven't got a style. I always mention that to people. It's not about style. It's about, it's about information and
Like content.
content.
Mhm.
Because that is the most important thing, is what's the content of your drawing. If you're just thinking of a style, then forget it. Not interested in styles.
And
So
do you,
if you think I've got a style, it's not really a style. It's just that I try to draw something that communicates.
do you know what like when you first start drawing, do you know what you're gonna draw? Because I know a lot of people, it just, just kind of happens.
I think it starts happening. It's what starts appearing on the page.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you were doing books like I, Leonardo or Freud and The Big I Am, there are like little sketches of ideas. Like we've got a lot of sketches and things of almost like you had an idea and so you sketch it down
Yes.
and then that would become a full drawing, but the drawing itself is just straight in with ink. There's no pencil involved, it just goes straight.
Yes.
But what is interesting when you look at the sketch, and there's one particular for my Leonardo, and there's a sketch of it, and it's of this sort of incredible machine that's kind of on the slant with the planets around it and stuff. The sketch is just literally a circle with a line through it and a few little like idea of people around it, just like and a felt tip pen, like on some random bit of paper that you might have found anywhere. And when you compare it to the actual full scale drawing, the angle of this line through the orb is exactly the same on the sketch and the final piece.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's exactly the same. It's like, how is that even possible? That was just an idea he had practically on a napkin, and this is the full. But it's exact.
Uh-huh.
That is
Gosh,
quite
did I
amazing.
do that?
Yeah,
Was I that good?
you were.
Heck.
Is there any kind of advice that you would give somebody who's trying to make a living making art?
I don't know whether you can start trying to make a living. You just have to, you can apply to do it and maybe go to art school for a bit and do something like learn to draw,
Yeah, well, yeah.
something like that. There's a lot of people who rely on style, and that's not important. It's information and content that's important, and that's what knowledge is. And I think if you can be a bit knowledgeable about what it is you're trying to draw, maybe.
I think maybe as well because you've always had like a notebook on you, so you've always had something
Yes.
to scribble in, like note down ideas. Sometimes if you see something or you get an idea, you've got little notebooks about that big.
Yeah.
So maybe
Uh-huh.
that's quite a good thing as well for young artists to always have something they can just capture those
They can
ideas
actually
with.
draw, yes, scribble down an idea, a thought,
Okay.
a possible urge to cover, to impress, express an idea. You want to draw it down somewhere so that you can come back to that particular thought. And it's a thought process that drawing is. So that's about that's the connection between drawing and words, I think, is that it's a thought process. So you're writing down something that is, or you're expressing it with some little scribble of words, but they're all connected in that way, Thought becomes something that you have to express, and you want to express it this way, that way, or another way. So you express the thought process.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I'm keeping this note, but it's kind of like it's kind of like note taking, I guess, just the
Note taking, yes, just,
little, but with a sketch.
yeah.
Because
Okay.
we have lots of notebooks in the studio where you do see like the sketch of an idea, and there are times when that sketch has become a fully fledged
Yeah,
drawing. Do you have like
Uh-huh.
examples in the archive of notebooks like that
and
where
I've actually taken it to full
yeah, there's
to
several, quite a
fruition.
lot actually. There's quite a lot.
And who are some of your favorite artists, or whether those are?
Leonardo da Vinci,
Oh, yes, definitely.
You like
uh,
George Grosz, don't
George
you?
Grosz, yes, Rembrandt. Um, who else?
John Steinbeck.
Epstein.
John Steinbeck.
Oh yes, John Steinbeck. Yeah.
Also, something I was wondering is like looking back, I know you've had your career and the adventures that you've had are, they're the stuff of legend. I was just kind of wondering what are some of what's maybe the most memorable adventure that you've had in the course of your career?
Probably one going to Kentucky to the Derby, whatever they call it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was a pretty good experience. And meeting Hunter for the first time. But he spoke like this, Rolf. And if I had a name like Gregory, it wouldn't have sounded the same, but Rolf is a strange name for. It's dead good. It's a very good name for him to say.
Just bark at you.
Yeah, he bark at me. That's it, Rolf.
Uh-huh.
Very odd of all the people to meet Hunter S. Thompson. Funny, weird, but interesting because it at least made my career interesting in a way. Just there, if you can call it career, I don't know. It could be career enough.
So are you working on any new projects right now?
What have I done?
Well, you're trying to do an Elon Musk, but it's not quite.
Oh, Elon Musk.
Not quite there yet, but nothing solid at the minute. Nothing full on.
No,
we're just trying to.
It's not grabbing my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Which has to be.
Yeah, we're kind of focusing on the exhibitions. So we've got this obviously opening in Oklahoma next week, and then we've also got an exhibition opening in North London at the Heath Robinson Museum in middle of February. So we've got a couple of exhibitions out there, which is quite nice. Yeah, it's nice to have. It's nice to have originals seen by, because I think that's the thing. A lot of Dad's work has been seen in magazines and in books, and they're only maybe that big. But when you see the originals, they're this, they're like A1, a lot of them. So it's a different experience. So that's kind of nice to see people's reactions to, to actually standing in front of an original artwork.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because a lot of the time when I go see art, I'm surprised by how much smaller it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This will be the opposite effect. So, and this exhibit, it's dedicated to your late wife, Anna.
Yes.
I was wondering how is she influenced? Did she influence your work significantly?
It was a very big influence. And she used to do embroidery and do fantastic work in embroidery.
Oh, wow.
I think there's a couple in the catalogue, actually. There's a couple of embroideries in the catalogue.
Have you got a catalogue?
Yeah, I've got the PDF. But if you're coming to the exhibition, we can give you one of the hard copies too.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, I definitely would like to come.
So you see how she was influenced.
But she was, I mean, goodness, she was always doing something. She did embroidery, but she also did paper mache models. She used to write, she used to keep a diary of every single trip she ever went on with you. There's about 50 diaries that she's got in the lounge, all just filled with her writing, her observations, her little sketches as well. So she was very creative as well, wasn't she?
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, is there anything that you would like to tell people about the exhibit? Anything, you want them to know or take away from the exhibit?
But there's a secret drawing in there, and you've got to find out.
Yeah, guess which is the secret drawing.
Secret drawing. So I think of one now. Through the
I think it's just that I hope that there's while I hope that we've pleased people by putting a few, things they'd like to see, so some of the by Leonardo or some Hunter pieces and things like that, I hope that they get some surprises as well. I hope they kind of go, I can't believe that's a Steadman, or God, how have I never seen that before? I hope there's a few surprises. I think there will be.
yes.
It was really fun. It was fun to put together because I just was like, well, that's my favorite. That's going in.
Yeah, and you said it was it 149 or?
Yeah, it's 100. We can do 100. I mean, we don't always have space for all 149. I'm not sure how many Andrea's put up for this one, but it'll be most of them. I mean, if it's not 149, it'll be 145. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're going to in half.
Mm-hmm.
And the gallery space is absolutely beautiful and really quite large, so it's quite nice. It's got lots of rooms, so it means we can kind of really group things together, and it's lovely because every single venue the dynamic changes so much, depending on the layout and things like that. It took us 18 months to get it all ready and sorted and up in Washington, so it's quite a long time to work on something, so it is nice to get the feedback.
Yes.
I mean, even bad feedback is useful sometimes.
Yeah.
Bad feedback or dad feedback.
Dad feedback or bad feedback is useful.
I mean, I can't think of any more questions for you right now. But I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me so much.
Nice.
You're welcome. And so I hope we'll
Nice
see
to
you.
talk to a Megan.
Huh?
Nice to talk to a Megan.
Yes, always nice to talk to Megan.
Have a good year, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
25, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
2025. Wow.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Great job.
Yes.
Thank you. I was very nervous, of course. But he and his daughter Sadie were both so nice. It was a lot of fun, and she came to the premiere of the exhibit earlier this month in Stillwater, which unfortunately I was not able to go to, but I'm gonna get up there soon because it's amazing that we have this exhibit.
It's cool that you were able to set that up because, if I had to guess, will Ralph Steadman, famous British illustrator, ever be on the Oklahoma Today podcast? I probably wouldn't have guessed that.
No, yeah, no. So when they asked me if I wanted to interview him, I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I don't know how we'll use it yet, but we will find
Oh, we used it.
Yeah.
We picked it bare, maybe. Well, now it's time for podvents. This is the part of the show where we go through the travelok.com event calendar, pick out a few of our favorite events. Who would like to go first this week? Nathan volunteers as tribute.
We're all dressed for the holiday.
Yes.
It's all, I've got hearts.
Indeed.
Everybody's in pink and red.
I also have earrings.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So Valentine's date night. Let's say you're scrambling and you don't know what you're going to do. Go to the Plaza District in Oklahoma City. It's live on the Plaza, which is their monthly event. This one is called Love on the Plaza. LOL. And in addition to the usual things, y'all have been to Live on the Plaza before. It's so fun. You can walk in and out of all the galleries and the stores. You can shop. You can eat. There's so many great restaurants in Plaza. Walk around and see the murals. This time, though, in addition to all of the usual cool things that there are to do at Live on the Plaza, OKC Improv, our friends at OKC Improv are putting on 2 shows that night that I am excited
Is Carly
to tell you
going to be doing it?
No, I will not.
Carly is not in these, but from 7:30 to 9, you can see Love is a Funny Thing, which is a comedy sketch show. And then this is the one I'm really excited about. From 9:30 to 11, they're presenting one called Date Night to Spouses, in which they find a member of the audience to relate their wildest, weirdest, or best date story.
Okay.
Right? And then 2 of the members of OKC Improv act out that date.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 of the other members
wow.
act out what would the long marriage that might have ensued had that date led to a lifelong commitment.
That sounds awesome,
It
actually.
sounds really funny. I know. So I think I want to go. Anyway, you can go to okcimprov.com if you want tickets. It just sounds like a really fun time. Love on the Plaza lasts from 6 to 10 p.m. And like I said, the first show, the comedy sketch show, is at 7:30. And the date night to spouses show is at 9:30 and until 11.
Can I just say, like, a lot of people have a really negative view of improv because maybe they've only seen it like on The Office or something like that. It's kind of the butt of a lot of jokes, like, oh, you do improv, oh, okay. But the OKC improv performers are all so funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I was shocked the
yeah.
first time I went to a show. It was so much funnier than I expected it to be. So they're a lot of fun.
I have to tell everybody right now to pick up our next issue of the magazine because all of these wonderful people went and did something for the first time that they've never done before that scared them. And Carly did an improv class, an OKC improv class, and performed. And it's so cool. It's such a great story.
And she was so good.
Thank you.
Megan went to check it out.
there.
And she would let her know if she wasn't good, for sure.
She absolutely would.
Megan, are you ready for your event?
I am not ready for my event.
Okay.
But it is happening February 15th at the Keystone Ancient Forest in Sand Springs, and it is the Ancient Trail Trek, which is people can run a 5K, a 10K, or a 15K through this, it is an ancient trail trek. It's all this old growth forest. You have cedars that are like 500 years old. You have post oaks that are like 300 years old. It's just these beautiful old trees, beautiful old forest, and you can run. You know what? You don't even have to run.
You could
walk. You could walk too if you wanted to, and there will be aid stations if you just walk or run too hard.
You need the aid stations.
Yeah, you can stop and get some water.
I know if I did trail running, I'd need the aid station eventually.
I'd definitely be walking. And then there's going to be, and they will give you food after this too, so you can replenish yourself. And you just want to go to the City of Sand Springs website, and you can find all the information and links to sign up there. And also, let me look at my little notebook. Oh yes, it starts at 9 a.m. So that's important to know. Although you can get there at I think the gates open at 7:30. So, and if you finish, you will get a medal. But everybody gets a T-shirt.
Yes.
So
even if you don't finish.
Yeah, even if you don't finish. And, and you get to spend time wandering around in a beautiful forest. So what's not to like?
I've always wanted to go to that forest.
Yeah,
it sounds cool.
I haven't been there because it's not open. It's only open to the public at certain times of the
Yeah,
so it has
extremely
limited
protected.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a piece of original cross timbers, right? And so they protect it pretty intensely.
And so it's it's really beautiful though, from what I've seen in photos. And maybe someday I will go there. I will not be running in this. No.
You just need some time to train. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Carly, what is your event this time?
Well, I actually wanted to start out with a question for the group. Do you guys have any, was there any music that you listened to when you were a kid and your parents either got mad at you because of the content or you were just listening to it too much or anything like that?
Marilyn Manson when I was young. Yes.
I'll be honest, I was barred from most popular secular music. So that was like almost everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never had any kind of restrictions on anything that we watched or listened to ever. Like my mom's favorite singer when I was really little was Sheena Easton, and those are some really filthy lyrics. But then one time randomly, the song Shoop by Salt and Pepper was on in the car, and that line came about, he knows that my name is not Susan, and my dad angrily snapped the radio. You don't need to listen to stuff like this. And I was like, since when? And why that line?
So
it was the weirdest, most arbitrary moment. But that was the only time anything like that ever happened. And it was so strange.
My mom put a cap on MTV at our house so that we could not. She did not want us watching Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, my mom definitely wouldn't have wanted us to do that.
Now.
What about you, Kirsten?
Not that I remember. I remember there would be a certain song we play or something, or we'd be listening to KJ 103 or whatever. And my mom wouldn't like make us change it, but she would be like, why are they playing this crap? But she wouldn't like make us change it or anything. She would just let it play. She didn't really care.
Okay. Well,
fair.
the reason that I ask is because one of my favorite stories that my mom ever told me was that she was obsessed with Kansas when she was like probably 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And that record that has Dust in the Wind on it, she played it so many times that my grandpa was like, I can't listen to this one more time, and he broke her record. Like, broke it. I was like, no more Kansas. So anyway, that takes me to our event, which is Kansas Live in Concert. And they're actually playing 2 shows in Oklahoma. On the 14th, they're going to be at the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in Catoosa. And then on the 15th, they're going to be at the Choctaw Casino Resort in Durant. So you have 2 opportunities to see them. I checked online. There's not a lot of tickets left in like the very front section, but there's a ton of tickets in the back left. And they start at $69.50 for both venues. They're going to play, Carry On My Wayward Son and Dust in the Wind and all of their classics. So it's funny because I remember when they used to come to Frontier City and I could go see them for free, but no longer. You have to pay to see them. But you know what? Kansas is worth it. I actually do really
They
like
got bills
Kansas.
to pay. There's, that's funny, that thing with the record, my mom had that same, I don't think my grandma broke the record, but my mom told me that she played Light My Fire by the Doors so much that my grandma was like, I'm going to lose my mind.
It's so funny because when you're a kid, it's so satisfying to listen to the same thing over and over again. But as an adult, like 2 or 3 times in a row, and I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
I could listen to it. If I like a song enough, I could sit there for
I can do it. I know some other people that
there's a burnout point for any song for me, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing Kansas in Oklahoma.
That's good. Yeah.
Now we're going to carry it on to Kirsten Stone. What is your event?
Carry on to Kirsten Stone. Sorry.
So mine, you will also have 2 opportunities to go watch it.
Okay.
And I'm sure that, I don't know if y'all know, I love the circus. And this one is like a circus brought to the extreme. It's actually called Moto Extreme.
The Moto Extreme Circus.
Yes, the Moto Extreme Circus.
Yes.
Circus of what?
Motorcycles and extreme things. It's the Moto Extreme Circus. They will be playing in Enid at the Stride Bank Center on February 14th. And on the 15th, they will be at the OKC Fairgrounds in the Jim Norick Arena. Both shows will start at 6:30. You can get tickets online or from a box office. They are a little cheaper if you go online, so I suggest doing that. And then the show will include the X-Metal Riders, a BMX freestyle, the Globe of Death with 5 motorcycles in it at the same time.
Sweet.
Cool.
The Sky Masters, a pendulum wheel, and the Nuclear Stunt Girls, as well as more opportunities. So it will literally be family fun, brought to the extreme. It will be so exciting, so crazy, so adrenaline-inducing. It'll be great.
Wow. Your ticket pays for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Yes, literally, yes.
Should we bring earplugs?
You should be the announcer.
If you want to.
That sounds fun.
Earplugs are always a good idea, even when you don't think you'll need them. Like a lot of concerts, I recommend
Your future
earplugs
self will
for
thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.
But you can find it, or you can call and get tickets with information. You can call 941-870-7444. Or you can go to motoextremecircus.com, and that is MOTOXTREME circus.com.
Awesome. That sounds so fun.
It does. I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
Megan, is there something with your shoe?
Oh, I was
doing?
just noticing how much I need to probably stop wearing them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
Do you have an event?
I do have an event, and it is Valentine's week. So we're talking about one of the biggest love languages there is, and that is military history.
Yeah.
Many of them would
agree
agree with you.
Yes. The Roman Empire is always up there for me. But no, seriously though, I do have some fascination with the Civil War history in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Obviously Oklahoma during the Civil War times, this is during the Indian Territory era. And Oklahoma is not necessarily, it didn't see the major military conflicts of the Civil War. But the political dynamics within Indian Territory, you had all these indigenous nations and all their relationships to like the Union and the Confederacy and to each other, and even like internal conflicts. It's just really interesting, like political drama to me. Yeah. And there were several Civil War conflicts that broke out throughout the state, and the biggest one was at the Battle of Honey Springs out near Chakotah. And you can actually still go to the Honey Springs battlefield, and you can get a nice history lesson there if you visit. But there won't be a better day to visit than this Saturday, because the one and only General James Blunt will be there. He was the Union general who presided over the Union side at the Battle of Honey Springs. It won't be the general himself, of course.
No zombies.
I heard he passed away. I don't know. I missed that one.
Condolences to Mrs. Blunt.
But Jim Spears, the historian and historical reenactor, will be there to portray General Blunt and to give a presentation over what went down that day. He will also be able to answer any questions you might have. So I was just wondering, if you met a Union general, if he just walked in, General Blunt right now, what was the first thing you would ask him? I'd ask him if his coat, how itchy it was. No, he would probably be a good guy to ask. We were talking about cast iron care earlier. He would definitely know about how to care for your cast iron.
He would, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to ask him if he met Abraham Lincoln, and if he did, can he dish? I need all the deets about Lincoln.
Yeah.
Dish? Now, I know military history, but what is dish?
Just give
Spilling the tea.
and spill the tea.
Oh,
Really,
okay,
I wanna
yes,
know
tea.
The scoop,
Right.
the dirt.
Yes. I'm sure General Blunt will be able to dish. Yes. So this is going on 1 to 2 p.m. Saturday, February 15th at the Honey Springs Battlefield in Chakotah. You can call 918-617-7125 or visit okhistory.org/honeysprings for more information. And it's time for Star of the Show now.
Is it General Blunt?
It would be on any other occasion, but I have to give it to Megan for the Ralph
great interview.
securing the Ralph Steadman interview.
Well,
Yes.
I give it to Ralph Steadman. But thank you.
And I'm sure he gives it back to General
Yes,
Blunt.
it's
That's just the kind of guy he
the
is.
star just transfers back and forth.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. This has been the show. And from here to Smithville, home of the Kiamichi Mountain Villa. That's the Oklahoma Today podcast. Head to oklahomatoday.com. Pick up our latest issue on newsstands right now. Send your feedback to oktpod@travelok.com. We'll talk to you again next week.
Goodbye.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Love.
Nice. Good job, everybody.